Hello friends, it's Alina, and in this video we are going to be talking about 5 things you need to know about the March 2021 full moon in Libra. So if that's something that interests you, then let's get started. Hello friends, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I am very excited for this full moon, but I'm also very tired. I don't know about y'all, but after this recent spring equinox that happened on March 20th, going into Aries season, I don't know what it's been like for y'all, but I've just felt kind of tired, kind of overwhelmed, kind of tired of social media. And we're going to be talking about a lot of the energy around this full moon, how it's going to bring up a lot of themes of analyzing and looking at our relationships, our dichotomy between work-life balance, between our interpersonal world, boundaries with ourselves and with everyone else. So it'll be really interesting to dive deep into that, look at the transits and a lot more. So with all of that said, let's get started. So first things first, why is this full moon so important? So as you may or may not know, in general, the full moon is seen as a culmination point with the light building on the moon over the previous 2 weeks, going all the way back to the beginning of this lunar cycle at the new moon. And it's kind of seen as a cosmic spotlight, highlighting what has and hasn't been working for you. Now with this specific full moon being the first one of this new zodiac year, we are moving into the spring season, a season of rebirth, fresh starts and new life. This can be a very potent time, similar to our New Year's resolutions times where we're very reflective. For paying attention to what your intuition is telling you could be dead weight. What are certain habits, people, environments, routines that you can reflect on that maybe at the time, maybe at even the beginning of the year seemed productive or seemed helpful, but they aren't at this point in this specific season of your life? Now with this full moon in March happening in the more social and diplomatic sign of Libra, we can definitely see more themes having to do with our interpersonal relationships and getting more of that full moon clarity on different aspects of it when it comes to better communication and sort of resolving any type of baggage that might have been weighing both you and the other party down over the last few months or even years. This cardinal air signs energy of naturally being able to find balance, diplomacy, and sort of smoothing over in terms of disagreements. This can be a very great time for having heart-to-hearts and seeking better clarity. So what are some transits that will impact this full moon? Now with this full moon occurring on March 28th or 29th, depending on your time zone, we see the sun, which is in the sign of Aries, opposing the moon, which will be in the sign of Libra. Now this transit can present some themes of balancing our personal self-interest while also balancing and holding space for the interest of our relationships and community around us. Now this comes from this sun sign and Aries theme of focusing on the self, leading, balancing with this moon sign and Libra's energy of wanting to delegate, find balance, and find overall sort of negotiation when it comes to interpersonal relationships. Now this can look like things possibly coming to a head when it comes to setting clear boundaries between you, your mental health, what you need to get done for yourself, and wanting to help maybe family members, friends when they need you as well. So this full moon really is going to start challenging us, specifically if you're in a cardinal sign even more, but all of us in general, to be more aware of how we can strike a balance between our personal boundaries and helping others. It's kind of like those parables or sayings or stories of saying like you need to water yourself first and then let that water overflow into other people. You know, you can't be watering other people from an empty cup. A similar sort of saying or parable is the whole story of the mother in the airplane. You need to give yourself air first before you can give air to others. Now, when it comes to relationships, a little bit more on our romantic side, we see the moon opposing both Venus, the planet of love and relationships, as well as Chiron, the dwarf planet that's associated with sort of the wounded healer aspects of our psyche. So there might be some emotional upsets in our relationships departments that could stem from past wounds or actions. Specifically, if your sun, moon, or rising is in a cardinal sign, this could impact you a little bit more during the full moon. But Venus actually does align with the sun in this lunar chart, and Venus really rules the Libra moon, making this configuration particularly useful for resolving conflicts. So now could be a very potent time to utilize these upsets, these reminders, these realizations or moments of clarity, using them as catalysts to dive deeper into where they stem from. And finally, in terms of transits, the moon will be making a perfect triangle configuration with both Saturn and Mars, creating what is known as the Grand Trine. So during this time, seeking out help from elders, superiors, people who might have already experienced what you are going through can be a very useful sort of action at this time. Opening up to others who are likely already excited and willing to help you can be very helpful at a time like this. So next, what should we expect to feel? I would definitely look out for any areas of your life where you don't already have clear boundaries in place where they are needed to likely pop up. Like mentioned before, the full moon is a time of illumination. It can really highlight things where you have these realizations of, wow, I really love you in a relationship, or wow, I needed to create a boundary in this area and I was kind of skating by, and now I see the ramifications of not getting clear on what works and what doesn't work for me. Another aspect of this that has really popped up for me that I feel called to remind y'all about is social media. You might have already been feeling a call to take a break from social media, try to create some new clear boundary with it, specifically when it comes to relationships, with these themes that we're seeing with the full moon in Libra and in Aries, and creating these boundaries with this pandemic still going on, with us still primarily having more of a virtual relationship than physical face-to-face. That means that we're interfacing with a lot of our loved ones through social media. And as many of us already know, social media can tend to distort our perception of other people. So really being aware of that, taking a break from social media, seeing how you feel, seeing how you might want to approach it differently to protect your mental health. These are things that I feel will be very helpful during this full moon time. And finally, in terms of how you can expect to feel, I definitely expect that there to be more themes and energy of feeling called to have one of those real conversations with your friends or loved ones, whoever you're in a relationship with. This could even be professional. And I think you know what I'm talking about. You know, that thing that happened, that thing that they said that you did not sit right with, what they did, vice versa. Maybe you feel the need to apologize or acknowledge something. The full moon is a culmination point. Things are building up. And so that build up does not necessarily need to be an argument. It could be a very important conversation that can be a catalyst to getting both you and the party that you're involved with to that finish line through this lunar cycle, to get to your goal, to maybe resolve that tension. That way it can wind down with this full moon waning back into the new moon, if that makes sense. And finally, let's go ahead and get into these journaling prompts. So if y'all have been writing with me for a while now, I used to have dedicated journaling videos for every full and new moon with dedicated, customized writing prompts that were aligned with the themes of that lunar phase. So in this video, what's gonna happen is I will have 2 writing prompts pop up on the screen, and when you see them, I invite you to pause the video, write them out, unpause, and then we will come back. With this Libra full moon opposing this Aries sun, we can see themes of balancing self-interest with serving others. What has your relationship with setting clear boundaries for yourself been like? With Venus impacting our love lives during this full moon, there can be themes of past transgressions coming to the surface. Are you one to easily forgive or expect forgiveness when there has been an upset? All right, y'all, if you made it to the end of this video, please comment if you have already been feeling any of this energy. I certainly have. I always tell y'all this happens to me. I will read up specifically on the full moons and the transits, and I'll be like, I've been feeling this energy for the past week. So definitely comment if you have been feeling any of it. If you don't feel like doing that, please comment 3 bird emojis for the cardinal sign of Libra. And it can be any bird. I know there's like 50 bird emojis on there. But either way, when you engage with my videos, you're essentially telling YouTube, the powers that be on here, that you enjoy content like this. And you're also helping me, a small but growing creator, continue to grow. So with all of that said, I will end this with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey and not the destination. All right, bye friends.